Welcome to Social Exploration. In this video, we'll be discussing about the theoretical approaches, neoclassical organizational theory. The neoclassical theory is also known as human relation approach or behavior theory of organization. The human relation school was basically developed after classical school of thought, that was administrative school and scientific school of management. After criticism from the scientific school of management, there was a need to develop human relation school. So Hawthorne study gave rise to a new movement which is known as human relation movement. So researchers started investigating the reason for human behavior at work. The Hawthorne studies were conducted on the workers at the Hawthorne plant of Western Electrical Company, Chicago. This experiment was conducted by Elton Mayo and Fritz Ruthelsberg in the year 1920, which was a 10-year study. The Hawthorne studies were a part of refocus on managerial strategy, incorporating the socio-psychological aspects of human behavior in an organization. The Hawthorne studies are of four phases, namely Illumination Study, which was conducted from 1924 to 1927. The next phase is the Relay Assembly Test Room Study, which was conducted from 1927 to 1932. The third phase is the Interviewing Program, which was conducted from 1928 to 1930. The last phase is the Bank Wiring Room Observation Study, which was conducted from 1931 to 1932. Let's see in detail about each phases. The first phase is the Illumination Study, which was conducted during 1924 to 1927. During this study, the workspace of the workers were brightly lit. Due to this, the workers felt that they are being watched and the productivity increased. This study designed to test the effect of light intensity on workers' productivity. Experiment indicated that productivity increased when studies were on and it dropped when the study got over, as workers were motivated due to the interest shown by the management. The mere practice of observation of the people's behavior tends to alter their behavior, and it is called the Hawthorne effect. The second phase is the relay test room study, which was conducted during 1927 to 1932. In this experiment, which was designed to determine the effect of changes in various job conditions on group productivity, as the illumination experiment could not establish relationship between the intensity of illumination and production. For this purpose, the researcher set up a relay assembly test room and chose two girls, and these girls were asked to choose more girls as co-workers. Thus, different variables impacted the group's and individuals' productivity. The variables were the payroll, where groups were paid for overall group production, not individual production, and the break intervals, where they were given 5 minutes of two breaks and then changing it to 10 minutes break. The productivity increased, but when they received 6 5 minutes break, they disliked it and reduced the output. The next one is the meal, where they provide food during the breaks. And the last one is the hours of work, where they shorten the day by 30 minutes, due to which the output went up. And they further shortened it more, and the output per hour went up, but the overall output decreased. Thus, they returned to the first condition, where the output peaked. The production and the satisfaction increased regardless of four manipulations: pay rates, break interval, meal, and hours of work. And the workers increased production and satisfaction related to supervisory practices. The supervisory practices increase the employee morale and the productivity. Thus, choosing one's own co-worker and working as group, being tested as special, and having a sympathetic supervisor were the real reason for the productivity increase. The third phase of experiment is the interviewing program, which was conducted during 1928 to 1930. In this, they investigated the connection between the supervisory practices and the employee morale. The result proved that the upward communication in an organization create a positive attitude in the work environment. Thus, the workers were pleased that their ideas are being heard. The fourth phase of experiment is the bank wiring room observation study, which was conducted during 1931 to 1932. In this, group of 14 men were put together in telephone switching equipment. The purpose of the study was to find how payment of incentives would affect the productivity. The surprising results was the productivity actually decreased because men were afraid that the company would lower the base rate and had a clear idea of a fair day's work. Workers apparently become suspicious that their productivity have been boosted to justify firing off some of their co-workers. So there was existence of informal group or cliques within the formal group. These cliques developed informal rules of behavior as well as mechanism to enforce them. The cliques served to control group members and to manage bosses. When bosses asked questions, clique members gave the same response, even if they were untrue. Workers were more responsive to social forces of their peer groups than the control and the incentives of the management. Thus, social groups can influence production and individual work behavior. Informal organization constrain employee behavior within formal organizational structure. Let's see the implications of Hawthorne studies. Under Illumination Study, the mere observation of people alters the behavior. Thus, this is also known as Hawthorne effect. And under Relay Assembly Test Room Study, the relationship between the workers and their supervisors were powerful, where there was an existence of human interrelationship, thus increasing the efficiency of the workers. And under interviewing program, there was a powerful influence of the upward communication, where the workers were considered as special and there was a prevalence of positive attitude towards the company and the productivity increased. But in bank wiring room observation study, there was an existence of informal communication. Because of that, the productivity decreased. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe and click the bell icon for further notification.